Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Joel Rosen. I am the Adrenal Fatigue Recovery Ninja, and today I want to talk to you about the top 10 adrenal stressors that you aren't thinking about that are impacting your overwhelm and your feeling of being burnt out and your feeling of being exhausted. Things like crashing in the middle of the day, things like not focusing and concentrating or remembering, or not being as sharp on the ball, or not having the ability to handle stressors the way that you used to, or not getting asleep, staying asleep, and waking up feeling rejuvenated. At the end of the day, we call this an overload of stress on the body, and we're going to call these the top 10 adrenal stressors that you aren't thinking about. Number one, tap water. Tap water. City water is really, really bad. Unfortunately, there are germs and potentially parasites and chemicals and drugs and medications. It's really bad, and I know you're probably aware of it, but then what are you doing? You're going to the store and you're getting bottled water, and then there's the plastics that heat up in the car, or maybe you're getting some distilled or filtered water. Bottom line is you got to do a better effort. And sometimes we go to the restaurants and we get the tap water, and that's going to accumulate on your body. And so a lot of these top 10 stressors, I don't want to make you neurotic and crazy, but you got to think of it as little hinges swing big doors, and you got to sort of reduce your stress footprint as much as you possibly can. Number two is indoor and outdoor air. Again, what do we have indoors? We have formaldehydes, we have glues, we have solvents, we have chemicals, we have gases from fire retardants, and we also have dry cleaning and bleaches and a lot of stuff that impact your body. And when you go outside, it's no better. You have pollution and bad air. Again, I don't want to make you crazy, but you got to think about getting air purifiers or breathing good quality air on a day-to-day basis. Number three is exposures to chemicals. And when I'm talking about chemicals, we're talking about the ones we just talked about. So that kind of goes hand in hand with you want good air and you want to avoid the chemicals. But we're also talking about chemicals in foods, insecticides, pesticides, sprays, Roundup, really, really bad stuff. You have to do your best to remove those toxins. Number four is bad fats. How often do you go and you try to eat healthy foods from a healthy restaurant or a healthy grocery store, and they're cooking with vegetable oils? And I'm talking about really bad oils that are heated, overcooked, and rancid and hydrogenated, and that will burst open your mitochondrial membranes, create a lot of oxidative stress and fatigue. Avoid that as much as you possibly can. Natural flavors and aspartame. Artificial this, artificial that, natural this, natural that. Unfortunately, those are very cytotoxic, and that will overstimulate your cell, put you in a state of fight or flight or sympathetic overdrive. You've got to do your best to minimize that. Exposures to EMFs, your phone, your computers, radio towers. You're going to get too much exposures to these, and you're going to overstimulate your neurotransmitters, and you're going to have headaches and brain fog. Do your best to go in sort of a minimal time at night and a minimal time in the morning, and whenever you're working, don't have your phone on your person. Have it away from you. Do your best to reduce your stress footprint, and reducing EMFs is one of those things. Also, unfortunate decaying root canals or infected teeth. Unfortunately, we all have to a certain extent. If you have bleeding gums, if you're not flossing, if you've had root canals, if you have heavy metals, a good chance that your teeth or your roots or your gums, they're infected. And you can do a lot of great things. You can rinse with minerals. You can do some oil pulling. You can have flossing and cleaning and ozone and lasers and mud packs. There's a lot of good things that you can do, and I'll make sure I provide the sources for you. Number 8, highly heated foods. We're cooking, as Dr. Marshall, one of my mentors, would say, the snot out of foods. You gotta slow cook your foods, eat as much raw based foods as possible, because when you overcook the foods at high temperatures, you deplete your methyl reserves, you deplete your hydrogen preserves, you deplete your secretions, and all of a sudden that food doesn't get digested properly. And now, if you're waking up in the night, you're not digesting your foods properly. Then we have refined white death foods. So these are anything that's flour or white sugar or processed food. That's called white death. You're going to get oxidized iron. You're going to have iron overload. You're going to have oxidation of your cells, and you're going to have insulin resistance. We call it white death. And then the last one, I'm sorry for this one, but I really think it's one that you need to be thinking of, is animal-based proteins in excess. Number one, they're very, very bacteria-laden, unfortunately. Lots of our meat supply, and I hate to be the crazy guy again, are bacteria infested. A lot of the times they're corn-fed or they're wheat-fed, and the cows had fatty livers themselves. And number three, it's just too much to put on your body, whether it's red-based foods or red meat foods or other types of proteins. Try to get into the plant-based foods and save your body in terms of the proteins and save your body that extra stress. So hopefully you got a lot out of today's top 10 adrenal stressors: tap water, indoor and outdoor air quality, exposures to chemicals, bad fats, natural flavors and aspartames, exposures to EMFs, decaying root canals and infections in the teeth, highly heated foods, refined white death foods, and too much animal-based proteins in excess. Once again, my name is Dr. Joel Rosen. I am the Adrenal Fatigue Recovery Ninja, and I look forward to ending your adrenal fatigue nightmare. Thank you so much.